systems to be supported. This perspective restores dignity to eating, and dignity, once restored, tends to spread outward. You begin to see meals not as interruptions, but as punctuation. Moments that structure the day, moments that invite pause, moments that remind you that life is not meant to be consumed endlessly, but experienced fully. There is a quiet resistance in this way of eating, a refusal to be rushed, a refusal to be optimized beyond recognition, a refusal to hand over responsibility for your health to systems that profit from confusion. This resistance is not loud. It doesn't need to be. It's practiced privately 3 times a day with fork and knife and attention. And over years, it accumulates. People sometimes ask whether eating well is worth the effort. My answer is always the same. It doesn't add effort, it redistributes it. You spend a little more care up front and save a great deal of effort later. You trade complexity now for simplicity later. Intention now for resilience later. Attention now for freedom later. That trade is almost always favorable. As I look at the broader picture, I'm convinced that the way we eat shapes not only our bodies but our culture's relationship to limits. A culture that cannot accept limits at the table will struggle to accept limits anywhere else. And limits, properly understood, are not enemies of freedom. They are its precondition. A river without banks is a flood. Pleasure without boundaries is compulsion. Choice without context is paralysis. Food rules, at their best, provide banks. They give shape. They allow energy to flow without destruction. This is why they endure. You don't need to follow them perfectly. Perfection is another modern trap. You need only return to them often enough that they begin to feel familiar. Familiarity breeds trust. Trust reduces fear. Fear is expensive. A life with fewer unnecessary fears is a richer life, regardless of income. So if I were to leave you with one final thought, it would be this. Eat in a way that supports the life you want to live decades from now. Not just the body you want to have, but the freedom you want to preserve. Eat in a way that keeps your future options open. Eat in a way that honors pleasure without being ruled by it. Eat in a way that costs a little attention now, so it doesn't cost you independence later. Food will never solve every problem, but eaten wisely, it stops creating new ones. And in a world overflowing with unnecessary problems, that alone is a quiet, powerful form of freedom.